Welcome to another episode of Breaking Chains and Building Dreams the Wrong, the Strong Way. I am your host, JC, and as always, I want to remind our listeners that names, places may be changed for privacy and educational purposes. Let's dive into today's story, a personal journey through my addiction, redemption, and finding purpose. Today's episode is a raw, real look at my life after moving to Arizona. I will share how addiction took me to some of the darkest places, how I hit rock bottom, and how I found my way back. This story is about transformation, resilience, and hope, something we all need to hear sometimes. So if you're ready and you're part of my team, you already know what time it is. Suansala Suburban, because we're about to go see Jesus. When I first moved down here, it was out of despair, out of fear, out of a lot of things. Chicago was really bad for me now. You know, it had been bad before, but now I had my own friends trying to kill me, my own organization trying to take me out, and I became part of another organization. So I went from being a saint disciple to being a land king. In Chicago, they call that being a pancake, you know, both sides. And it's a no-no. It's just like being bad. So, you know, it got to the point where I was on the street one day, and it happened countless times where people were trying to kill me, shoot me, run me over. It happened back to back that day. Can't remember if it was like 7 or 8 times, but it all happened in one day. And that day I decided that it was time for me to leave. It was time for me to find a new life somewhere else. And I really thought that me moving to Arizona, getting away from everything would really like help me change. You know, little did I realize that when you run, you take your problems with you. You know, it's it's you, it's not the problem. You know, when I first moved to Arizona, I had big dreams. I had high hopes. I really thought I was going to be able to change. I came down here with a lot of money on me, you know, clothes, vehicles, jewelry. I figured I would be set. I had close to $250,000 on me. And I said, you know, this is it. This is my retirement. I'm done. I moved away from the city. This is how the mob guys do it. They make their money. They make it out. And, you know, I really thought that was my retirement. Things started to go sideways fast. I was used to living in Chicago, so I was used to making money. I was used to selling dope. I was used to getting on the streets and earning. That wasn't happening here in Arizona. It was a very different lifestyle here. It was a different drug game. It was just different. Chicago didn't prepare me for the challenges I would face here. I'm not gonna lie, after being here for a couple months, I was completely broke. I want to say in maybe 90 days, I had spent all that cash. I had sold my jewelry, sold my car, sold my motorcycle, pretty much dead broke again with nothing, just like when I was in prison in Mexico. You know, and it's crazy because there's key moments where I remember even jumping on the bus for the first time as an adult, like as a grown man, jumping on the bus and going to my first job. My first job here in Arizona after I went completely broke from, you know, drinking so much and doing drugs, was at U-Haul, checking in trucks. And I remember the feeling of like, you know, I've never been very prideful, but it did hurt me that I went from having, you know, $1 million in my closet to making $12 an hour checking in trucks at U-Haul. So, you know, I was a little hurt. I was a little hurt, and hurt for a person that's damaged is very dangerous because we try to cover that up with, you know, alcohol, drugs, relationships, sex, and anything to fill that void, right? And it just wasn't getting filled. I moved down here, and some of my biggest addictions were right in front of me every day. Strip clubs, massage parlors, anything that had to do with drugs and sex. I I hit my lowest. I won't say that's the lowest that I've been in my life, because I hit my lowest in Mexico. I hit my lowest in different places, but I hit my lowest here in Arizona. I was doing things I had never thought I would do. I was, roaming the streets, dark corners of Arizona, on Van Buren, South Side, West Side. If you're from here, you know that those areas are not too good. And it was just to get my fix. I was constantly on the look for crack, coke. I wasn't really into meth, but if it was there, I would do it. The addiction had a grip on me big time. When I moved down here, my addiction it just got out of control, because there was nobody here to watch me. There was no one here to tell me, hey, JC, you can't do that. So I went all out. Did drugs, and became very, very addicted. Very addicted. It got to the point where, I started seeing some of my friends just didn't care about their actions and consequences. And it led me to want to look for help. I walked into Solutions, Crossroads, all these rehab centers, and I wanted to get better. I started getting DUIs left and right. I think I have a total of 4 DUIs. It's how I suppressed my demons. It was through alcohol and drugs. I did the 90-day program. I did the 6-month program. And remember, guys, I've been in programs since I've been 9 years old. I've been going to AA meetings since I was a kid. This is nothing new to me. So, I really thought that I was gonna kind of die the way that I was, because I didn't really see a different Julio. I really didn't see a different JC. All I saw was just the drinking, the drugs, the chaos, the fighting. None of those places worked for me, because I needed to see it. I guess you could say I needed to see it in myself. I remember one day I was going to work, and this is after I had already left Chicago. I was already gone for almost over a year. They had already killed Cato, and Valerie was making changes, in the business and things like that. And I remember getting a call from her, and I had bought my house off of Cato. So when they killed him, he still had all the paperwork to the house and everything, but my ex-wife was trying to, keep that too. She was trying to keep my money, trying to keep just whatever she could off of me. And I remember Valerie calling me and telling me, come into Chicago, we're gonna get that house back, and I'm gonna give you some money that Kay wanted me to give you, and this truck. And I remember in my head, cool, man, now that'll be my way out now. That'll be my retirement now. So I ended up flying into Chicago, and she ended up kicking, she did it so gangster, I was scared, I was scared, and I got there, and my wife was like, no, I'm not moving. And Valerie showed up with a 53-foot truck, a bunch of workers, and said, it's time for you to pack your stuff. I have the deed of the house right here, and you're not on it. I was happy that day. I've had lots of opportunities, but my addiction has always gotten the best of me. I went home that day with a brand new Tahoe truck and 75 grand in my pocket, cash. I got to Arizona, and I was broke in 2 months. Yeah. A lot of money has been thrown away. A lot of money has just passed through my fingers and have done nothing with it. My addiction and my drinking spiraled so out of control to the point where I was getting DUIs left and right. I was so desperate to forget my whole life. I call it self-suicide because at the time I was riding motorcycles and just acting a fool on the streets that God had his hand over me. I didn't kill myself. I ended up getting caught on my fourth DUI and I got sentenced to a year in prison. I got sent to Douglas, Arizona. It's a DUI yard. It is the smallest prison I've ever been in. They took a small Motel 6 and put a wall over it and called it a prison. When I mean smallest prison ever, I mean it. I would step out of my room and I was already on the yard and on the chow hall. The pool was filled in with sand and that was our walking yard. Smallest prison I've ever been to. At my lowest, I must say, because I've had a lot of low points in my life, but sitting there in that small prison cell, I had a lot of time to think and I realized I couldn't keep living this way, like drinking, doing drugs. Like I needed to change, but I just didn't know how. Not just for me, but for the very few people that even believe in me too. I decided walking in circles in that yard that I needed to do something, and I knew it wasn't going to be easy because I had dug myself so deep into that dark hole that it was going to take every strength that I had to dig myself out and to rebuild my life, and I didn't even know how. Change is possible no matter how far you've fallen. I am a poster child for that. My journey from rock bottom to redemption wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I want each and every one of you to know that you have the power to transform your life. It's about taking one step at a time and believing that God has your back. Don't listen to your heart. Don't listen to yourself. Listen to God. Today, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to spread resilience and hope. This is where I draw the line. We're working with the women at Perryville. We're working with the men at Lewis. We're working with refugees, kids and adults, conducting summer fit classes, diet classes. We're also deeply involved with correctional officers and on big talks about building a Wrong to Strong center here in Arizona. Our upcoming events to visit prisons will be Utah, Colorado, Fresno, Texas, Stateville, and Florida. We're spreading the message far and wide. I encourage you to share this episode with anyone who needs to hear it. Follow us on social media and support our mission at Wrong to Strong. Together we can build a better future for those struggling with addiction and incarceration. Thank you for turning into Breaking Chains and Building Dreams the Wrong to Strong way. Next episode, I'll be sharing more about my journey and the incredible people I met along the way. Remember, stay strong and inspired. Until next time, keep breaking those chains and building those dreams. This is JC. I'm signing off. I love you guys. Hey, súbanse a la suburban.